Spencer, what was the best part of your day and the worst part of your day?
Ooh, best part of my day by far was merge time, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm gonna be able to vote for who wins, at least, and made it to the merge. You know, it's a big deal in Survivor. I think it's a big deal in the Survivor. Um, Worst part of the day? It was a pretty good day. Probably, I actually felt genuinely pretty bad voting some people out.
Who
Um,
especially, like, what are the worst
Oh,
ones?
Samantha. Like, oh my gosh. So Samantha is like, we're sitting there. I know I'm about to vote for her, and I'm kind of worried because she hasn't been scrambling at all. And so, like, I'm concerned that, if she doesn't have some plan in mind, like, what am I missing? So I'm about to vote for her. She says, "Oh, hey, it's my family, my mom and my dad up there." And I look over and they're smiling and waving, and I'm like, oh. And then I vote her out. I feel like crap. She's upset. So yeah, I hope I can just tell her I'm sorry tomorrow, because it's a portion of the bad feelings of like doing that in the game, but it still definitely feels crappy.
You guys enter the merge with 4 from Opa, 4 from Sawa, and 3 from Aso. How you guys gonna move forward? What's your game plan?
Yeah, so we come in with 4, 4, and 3, and I think the general thinking had been if there are 2 little guys that can join forces and take out the big guy. I guess both we and the Green Tribe are the big guys, but I think just personality-wise, I feel like we might be able to frame ourselves as the little guys. We have 4 just like they do, but Jason's running around with these idols. I think that he thinks he's really calling a lot of the shots right now, and that group is pretty tight. So I'm hoping that we can take the red people on our side, and for a couple votes at least, get the ball rolling in a good direction.
With those idols in play? How are you gonna try to work against that with the numbers? It's gonna be hard to split and stuff with the current dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, things are complicated right now with splitting a vote. I don't know that we can definitely do it. If we can get Jeremiah, Amanda, and Laura on board, and maybe even Maria on board, which I didn't think was a possibility, but might be, then we would have enough people to split. I talked to Jason, and Jason basically said, Maria's my pawn. I'm using her. I'm taking her to the final 5, and then I'm going to cut her off. Maria came to me and Ryan and said that Jason believes I'm loyal, but I will go with you guys and turn on him. So either she's a really elaborate mole or she's genuine, and we could really, work with her and split some votes. And I hope it's the latter, because if we can do that, then for a couple votes we could flush some of these idols out of the game and level the playing field a little bit. I don't think my ultimate plan is to eliminate all of the green people and just open the door for Ryan to kick me and Twyla out, or go to the end with me and Twyla and beat us. So I think I'll have to come up with another plan to pivot to, but I think it's a good way to start going.
Yeah, fish back coins, voting blocks for the second chances. What are some of these voting blocks? You kind of alluded to it, but the balance between, knocking out Sawa and Ahaso. What would be your ideal? You don't have to go through like everything, but like work down from like 11 to 3 with you in it, like the final
Yeah,
3.
sure. I mean, there are so many voting blocks. I can't really keep track of it. There's obviously the original tribes, all 3 of them. There's the survivors, and that whole idea that we'll stay together and see a survivor win. There are these personal connections that have been made. I had a long talk with Laura. Ryan had a talk with Laura, and Ryan also spent last night with Laura with this group of 6, where they, found out about an idol, and Jason got an idol. So there's a lot going on. There's a ton of different groups that are all just colliding together, and you can't really tell which way it's going to go. I think my ideal scenario is to start out by A, flushing an idol out of Jason's pocket, and B, proving to all the new players that I'm not trying to go all survivors all the way to the end by putting some votes on Kelly and Jason, probably sending Kelly home, and then probably sending maybe Kurt home as Jason expends his idols. And then I think from there I'm going to have to make some kind of move. I think if I just take Jason out in a straightforward way, then Ryan really holds all the cards. Ryan and the Red Tribe. Ryan, Laura, Jeremiah, and Amanda, I think will just have a lot of power. And I think whichever way they go, if they vote Twyla and I out, it's not good. And if they take us to the end, it's also probably not good because I think they beat us. So might have to endure a couple extra hours with Mr. Kyle, but I think I'm going to have to come up with some kind of new plan at that point.
Who do you think Jason would target? Kelly, if they, who are they? If you try to split votes and try to flush the idol, who do you think they're going to target?
I could easily see Jason and Kelly turning things on me. I think that if we go forward and try and split votes between Jason and Kelly, I could see myself getting thrown under the bus extremely quickly, maybe before the buses even started moving. So I think I have to be really ready for that. And it's definitely going to be a risky spot. I think I might have to put myself in a risky spot in the next few rounds to have a shot at getting to the end where I would have a shot to win.
Brought up Ryan, I think, in every confessional as like the guy, talk to the guy, he's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little more about that. What makes him so threatening at this point?
Yeah, I think Ryan's really good at the game, to be honest. He's developed a good relationship with a lot of different people, pretty subtly, but he now I think is really like a nucleus in this big group. He's a contact point for Twyla and I, that we have this Final 3 deal. He has a good relationship with Rachel. He has started making a good relationship with Laura and also with her tribe mates from the Red Tribe. I think he knows the game as well as anyone here, and he's very good at challenges, and he knows what he's doing. So I think he's definitely a threat and an ally right now, though. As much as he's a threat, I still, for the time being, trust him to go with me. I think he might be planning to go against me, but I don't think he's doing so right this moment.
Tell us about the connection. You had a conversation with Laura. Might that be a part of your pivot plan?
Yeah. So I talked with Laura a little bit, just getting to know each other, and it was awesome conversation. There are a lot of different conversations, obviously, that happen out here. Some are about, like, at home, survivors, random shooting the other kids around. But we had just a conversation, sort of like a philosophical conversation, just about life and what we were both interested in and where we saw ourselves in 10 years, where we live, relationships. It was a fairly deep conversation, which are kind of my favorite conversations to have, and sort of just had a moment where it was outside of the game, just really connecting as people, which was cool. And I know that she's like really tuned into the game at the same time, and I don't necessarily expect it to change anything, but at the same time, I think it was, she's someone that I would be friends with. She's good to talk to. I think she's got a really interesting point of view. And I would spend my time not playing the game, just like talking about TED Talks we've watched and listened to. So I think, there is the potential for like a friendship there, which could be the basis for doing something down the road. And I also know that she did reveal to me that she feels on the outside of her group that she had, that I think she was sort of a dissenting vote versus Jeremiah and Amanda. So, if she's feeling like she's not 100% with them, and I'm feeling like I might need to move something, those two could definitely align at a time where we could both flip the game on someone and maybe go in a different direction.
And you're a guy who plays with numbers, probabilities. What's the most likely outcome tomorrow? When we hit whatever time we wrap this thing up, who's being
We're going to
crowned the
Vegas. What do
champion?
we bet
You're asking
on?
for a winner pick.
I am. To put it far more succinctly than
A
I
lot of
just
money
did.
on
Yes.
this.
Yeah, Sandra's bidding offshore betting. In Fiji, we need to know what we need to bet with her on.
Yeah, I could really see. I honestly wouldn't pick myself to win. I think I've got a shot, but I think it needs to be a specific scenario where I can win. I'm gonna aim for it, but if I had to make a guess, I'm gonna say that your winner is. I want to say Ryan, but I'm gonna say Amanda. Amanda's the winner.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why? What's she gonna pull? I mean,
Well,
how
I
does
think
she-
like
how does
right
she
now
get
Amanda's like everyone wants to work with Amanda. Like she has a good connection with Jeremiah, so she's solid in that original group. So if that original group combines with some other original group, I think she'll be in a decent spot. And I think, you know, Ryan and I are both trying to get her on our side. I've heard rumors that Jason wants to go after me, so if he does, I think he would want to get her on his side. That seems like it would be the logical group to go and get on your side. So I don't see any reason anyone would target her right now. She's smart. She's a fan of the game. She's likable. People could vote for her at the end.
Well,
I
thank
think
you.
Amanda can do it. She's likable. Kurt could have a good shot too.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's like so happy-go-lucky. He's like the most happy-go-lucky person I've ever met. He's just like, we came in and Jason and everyone was saying like, yeah, Kurt got votes every time. And he was just like, yeah, I did. And they're like, yeah, he was about to go home. Like, he's on the bottom, basically. He's like, yeah. He's just, like, rolling with the punches as they're socking him in the face. And, like, I kind of like him.
That's a good way to end. I have a good other one, but I think that might be better. I don't know if the question, it might be too hard hitting for them.
Bring it. He's
What,
bringing it, so we should do it.
We woke him up.
What non-juror or what non-merged member do you think deserved to be here the most, and who do you think deserved to be here the least that made the merge?
Oh.
Oof.
What do you think, Kenny? Who do you think deserves it?
I don't use the D word.
Sorry,
No one
I'd
deserves
say,
it.
uh,
or
Got here,
whatever.
they got
Maybe
here.
should be here, or isn't.
Should be here.
Where
Wish would be here.
Yeah. I mean, Derek was definitely cheated of his rifle spot. He was the best.
Hashtag sarcasm.
I'm gonna
You
film
know
that
he's gonna
one,
treasure that
send
clip
it
for
to
all
him.
time, right?
He was fun to hang out with. Just, I don't know, it was crazy to play with. Man, I felt the worst for Samantha. But as far as who really, I don't know, Corey was good.
Yeah.
I can only really speak for people that I was with.
From okay.
But yeah, he was good. And I don't know.
Out of
I
11.
think it's a good group though. I think it
Okay.
like kind of makes sense, the people that are here at the same time.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, what was your best moment today, and what was your worst moment today?
Oh my gosh. There were really a lot of good moments that happened today. I mean, the merge was awesome. Making it to the merge was a huge goal for me, so I loved that. I feel like I have fire on my face. Like ash. Okay, hold on, sorry. Anyways, one of the worst moments, obviously losing a challenge sucks, but like I truly do care about Donna as a human being, and so voting her off was hard for me. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, this is Survivor. It's not like a team build. It is team building, but at the end, it's everyone's like fighting for themselves at the same time. So that was definitely the hardest part of today, emotionally, physically, with the challenge, the drunken sailor challenge, killed me. I thought I was gonna be so good at it, so my ego hurts right now. But that's about it. The merge was the best part, definitely by far.
You're still awesome, Kelly. It's wonderful here to.
Thank you.
Going into the merge with Chola, you've got four green, 4 purple / lavender, and 3 red.
Yeah.
What are the dynamics, or what's happening next?
You know what? I think. Oh my gosh, it's crazy because I put so many scenarios into my mind, and I'm like, we could work it really any which way. But I want to believe that the Green Tribe has a strong alliance going into this merge. So all we need is one more person to come with us, and I think we got it. Now, granted, that's the perfect situation, but we spoke with Twyla and Rachel, who are totally cool to be picking off people from the red tribe first, just as you would imagine. Unfortunately, that leaves 4 and 4, and then it's like purple versus green. And word on the street is that they want to keep it like survivors to the end, which like I'm all for, obviously. I think that'd be awesome, but that came from Spencer, who I don't trust at all. So I think we're just gonna go with picking the red guys off one by one, and then I don't know. I would like to get Spencer out.
Okay. Why do you want him out?
I just don't trust him. Like, I would love there to be survivors at the end, but I don't think that he's genuine about that. Or, I mean, that was like coming from one of the other survivors, so I'm like, I don't even know if that's true at this point. And I'm exhausted, so I could have just made that up in my head.
Okay.
No one really knows.
Which survivor deserves to win this game the most, and which survivor deserves to win it the least?
Okay, so I absolutely deserve to win it the most.
Okay.
But I think, seriously, I think I have strategized, like, the whole social part of this game I have down to a T, I think, for the most part. Although, like, Jason and I have remained tight since the beginning, but every vote we've had, it's always, okay, what do you want to do? And I don't know if that's going to turn around and bite me in the butt, because of these have been, like falling on my shoulders, like the pecking order kind of, but I think I'm deserving. I'm really playing this game. I'm giving it everything I have, and I would, as we all are though, but I want to see myself at the end. And the least deserving of the survivors, gosh, I like us all.
Okay.
I don't think there is a least deserving. We're all out here fighting for the same thing. And at the end of the day, it's like we came out here to have fun for charity and like continue this crazy adventure this chapter in our lives, you know? So we're all fighting for the same thing.
You've served on a survivor jury. Do you think the people in the final 11, do you think they think you deserve to win over your ally, Jason? And if so, why or why not?
Well, I think Jason is a really great human being, but he's a total loudmouth and can appear like a total jerk to people. So if I take him to the end, which it's like we've talked about, I don't feel like he is a threat at all. But the problem is if I hate to say fan because they're like our tribe members, but if a fan gets into the end, then you have the fear of a fan taking home the win, because that's kind of just, I feel like, how things go, you know? Fan makes it and they try so hard to make sure Survivor doesn't win. So, oh God, I don't know, it's just gonna be interesting.
So if that were the case, and say you went to the final, say it was a final 3 and you were with Jason, then theoretically who would, and you don't want a fan in there per se, which survivor would you want in there then, or would you?
Well, it's hard to say because we just have merged. We're all like, we've scrambled a little bit, but everyone's pretty much gone to sleep because it's like 3 in the morning right now. You guys are all nuts. Just so you know.
Actually not, but we won't tell you what time it is. It's not true.
I don't actually know what time it is.
Okay.
You're right. But what was the question?
Which of the other 2 survivors should be with you and Jason if it's a final 3?
Okay, you know what? I would say Jason and Spencer. I think, you know what? Actually, maybe Twyla, because I think Twyla's a little bold. I think that I could beat out Twyla, but I like her. I wouldn't necessarily I'm not bringing her to the end because I think I can beat her, but I'm looking at her personality against people that'll be sitting on the jury. So that's what I'm looking at.
Mr. Baker?
So Jason got an idol today.
Yeah, what was that? Jason got an idol in front of everyone.
What's the plan with it?
You know what, we've talked about that, like trying to figure out some massive lie to tell people. We already told people that the people working for Durham Warrior Survival Challenge told us that we maybe burned our idol that was at camp just so that nobody, we merged at our camp. We did not find the original idol there, so we made up a lie saying we burned it, basically, so that nobody else would go hunting for it because we already are in trouble. So now Jason found this idol well, in front of everyone at the challenge. We're lost on what to do with that at this moment. But Jason has another idol. So it's like he's sitting on 2. And 2, the first idol was found also in front of other people. So it's like we have this great plan, but if all the fans wanted to turn on us, they could really fast.
So you've been calling the boot list, but he's the one sitting on the idols.
Right.
Are you going to put your heads together about, I mean, suddenly you need both of those pieces, right? It's like we're going to be using idols
Right.
to further
Well, we've
our
talked
game.
about if there's a blind side, how to make sure that someone does have the idols so that he's not walking out of the game with idols. So that's been discussed. And we've also tried to use like Maria and Kurt to our advantage to say, hey, if you guys hear anything, just like let us know so that we're not walking out of the game with idols, or that he's not really. But he is willing to, I want to say he's willing to save people, although he probably came in here and said he's just going to use them for himself to make it to the end. But I don't know. I think if he had to, if it came down to it, we were down to like the final 6 probably, I think he would start using it for survivors to keep them in there just to get us to the end.
So if you're thinking all survivors, what role do Kurt and Maria play in that as original members of the Green Tribe? And when are you planning to? Will they just take it lying down? I mean, what's your perception of
You
them
know
as
what?
players?
No, and actually, I think it's very interesting because no matter what kind of strategy you bring to life, day by day, everything changes. Not even day by day. I mean, every 15 minutes here, something is changing, which makes it so special compared to like the Survivor. This is quick. This is intense. It's incredible. And we're going to be making decisions so fast. And now come the merge, as much as we all want to stay together, we're also going to have to fight for ourselves. So if there's a weak link and everyone else sees it, it's not going to be in our hands, I don't think, whether or not Maria or Kurt necessarily stay. I think they're going to have to fight for it a bit on their own, because from what I've heard, we're going up against some brutal people on the other tribes that are just willing to pick people off for no particular reason, it sounds like. So
Who are those people?
Who's these brutal people? Like power rank to brutality.
Well, for one, there's Amanda on the Red Tribe. We have heard she's a little vicious, and I see your face.
I'm just
So
actively listening.
we've heard Amanda is really super sneaky and conniving. That's something I want no part of. So the moment we can get rid of her is perfect by me. But it's like the red team seems so out of order that it's like whoever they can like dream of to put their name down, that's who they're just gonna go with. And I've talked to Maria, I've talked to Kurt about this, and I've also told them, I said, if you guys see something going on and survivors are going one by one and we can't save ourselves, you guys need to pick with who is really the beast, whoever has the head on their works over there, and just go with them. And you need to get with them now so that you can not be the ones voted out, so at least you are making it further. So we're trying to help them at the same time while we're helping ourselves. Like, we really do care about them. That's the crazy thing. We didn't just take them this far to use them as goats, like I would love to take them as far as I possibly can. It wasn't just to get myself to the merge.
Do you think your ally shares that sentiment? That seemed like a very genuine answer for your tribe mates. Do you think Jason feels the same way?
I think he feels the same way. I think Jason's number one thought is probably Final Four survivors, which is cool. But I think he's also, like, we feel extremely confident that we have Maria and Kurt. So if that's what's going to get Jason or myself to the Final Four, then we'll sit with them any day over sneaky survivors. So it's hard to say, but as long as the 4 of us can stay strong and not screw anything up and not we can at least hold like some sort of power in the challenges, I think that we can stick together. And if not, then I think Maria and Kurt would be the last to go to the fans if it came down to that.